Today I'm going to show you how to paint a basket full of geraniums. You'll notice I've drawn out the basket and then taken actual geranium leaves and traced several in a couple different sizes onto my paper to make my pattern. And now I will draw on some buds. I've sketched in where I'm going to put my geranium buds. A lot of that sketching will get covered with paint, so I just kind of gave myself an idea of where I would like them. So now I will base in the basket. I start with a very dark brown, a burnt umber. I have a pretty big brush because I'm just wanting to cover a large area, and I just get the background based in. It doesn't have to be totally even. And then we let that dry. While we're letting the basket dry, we can paint some of the geranium leaves. I don't know if you can see the outline in this light of the geranium leaves. I'm double loading my brush with, let's see, a celery green and a dark green. And a little bit of citron just to give it a little pep. But then I start, now this is paper I'm doing this on, so it's going to be a little dry, but I follow the outline of the leaf, reload when I need to. It's going to take a lot of paint for this, and there is your geranium leaf. Load again, and do another. Let's see, we'll do this one. Run and dry on paint, so reload. And there you have another geranium leaf. One more time, I'll do this one over here. Start at the V, swirl it, wiggle, wiggle. Come back from the other direction. That one turned out really dry, so I need to go back over it. One thing nice, you can go back over them. There. Okay, this area is dry, so I can do those leaves. Well, I probably should wait and do those after I've done the basket. Okay, I'll do a couple of the smaller leaves. Let's see, I might need to switch to a smaller brush, but I'll try it with this brush. Just don't have to make as big a wiggles. Yeah, it's gonna work. A little dry on that edge. Go back. And pull in a stem. Okay. Let's try this one. Wiggle, wiggle, go back, wiggle, and wiggle. Oop, dry spot. Okay. pull in your stem. There. Now we'll come back and we'll do the basket weave. Just so you know, I did the leaves with the 3/4 inch brush and this, and now I've switched to a number 12. You go with whatever fits the size of your design. Now these had, you're going to think of lines for the basket, and then you're going to go between and over the lines. I have a dark brown, tan, and a cream color on my palette, and I load the tan and the dark brown, and then there's a touch of the cream. It's a little dry, so I need to really get some in there. And you're going to start kind of on the edge, and then smash it and pull up to the edge. You notice how I went over this line, and then you do that and you overlap. It's a little dry. Go over it. Does not have to be perfect. You're giving an effect. And then this starts to go to the edge. Now, when you get down to this one, you're going to pull the brush and end there where that one overlapped it. And then you start again, and you're going to overlap, so you're exchanging which one line you're going over as you go down to create the weave. And then you line up on the side, press, lift. Line up on the side, press, lift. Then this one's going to go across to this one. I'm not in your way. I'm going to get going and I forget where the camera is. And you can come back in and kind of put your lines back where you might have got them a little smudged. Again, we're not going for perfection, so don't worry about it if it overlaps a little bit into your next color. And anything you don't like, you just go right back over it. Right back over it. And that is your basket weave. Now that my basket is relatively dry, I'm going to come back in and do the leaves that will overlap it. So I've gone back to my 3/4 inch flat brush, and I'm loading with the avocado, celery green, and dark green, and then a tiny bit of citron. Get it fully loaded since this is a very dry surface. Lots of paint in it. And I guess I'll start on this one. Very dry. again. Forget where the brush, the thing is. Okay, let me hold it. Okay. One more time. Come back to the other side. The other side will be full of paint. And this one down here. Rats. Dipped in the wrong side. Now I'm going to draw in some stems on where my geraniums are going to be. Get very thin green paint. I used the darker green that I had used in the leaves. And you just kind of draw some lines in where the stem for the geranium will be. And you kind of want it to go up into where you're going to have the flowers, because you're going to see some of them through it. I'm going to have one over here. And you kind of draw up. The drapees. And we'll have one going over here on top of this leaf, which you won't see much of the stems because it's blending in, but we'll get it placed there anyways. And then there's going to be geraniums that go here and on here, and we'll put one right there. Oops. Don't worry about the smudge, it'll all blend in. Maybe another one coming up here a little bit. And there's the stems. Now we will paint our geraniums in. I start with the darker, more of a burgundy red for the background, and I just kind of dab in the shapes of the petals. This is going to be like the background of the petal. You'll see I already did one right there. And you kind of figure out, you can have a little bud up there. I'm getting the general shape of the whole thing and not really the individual petals yet. And for these down here, I do a little teardrop shape. This filbert brush, it's a number 6, is a little rough. It's older, so it leaves more of a jagged edge. That's okay for these. Not real precise, like I said. This one will leave a little less on there. It'll be more of a half dome shape than a dome shape. See if you can see over there. Try this again without getting the palette in the way. Okay, I've laid in the darker red, or burgundy red, and here I have a little bit of a brighter red, and I'll kind of come in with a few of that, just to give it a bit of contrast. And then I will just drag in some white with the burgundy, and then give a little highlights here. Not enough white. A little bit more white. And I focus the lighter ones towards the center, so it kind of pulls them forward. Let's see. Do a few on here. And make sure you add the little buds to the end. Little teardrop shape. Some have more than just 2. Now some areas you need to fill in, it looks like. Just kind of step back and look. This one has too much white for my taste. So I'll fill in with some dark again. And just look and see if you missed anything. I'll draw some stems into that. And pretty much there is your basket of geraniums. One more thing. You can also come in with a liner. And sometimes I do this with a light green or a white, and you can touch and put little centers on your flowers. Sometimes that adds a little bit more dimension, a little and then also you can add some curlicues. Then down the paint, this is probably the wrong color, but I'm just going to, for expediency's sake, show you. Get lots on here, and then just do some curlicues. Yeah, this color's not going to show up for you, but just some little viney curlicues around, and that's pretty much it.